Welcome to Somewhere in Arizona, a fun show with a twist. The thing you have to understand is, I'm not from around here. Somewhere in Arizona. Welcome to Somewhere in Arizona, the show that takes less traveled, occasionally dangerous paths to find inspiring Arizonans who are pursuing their dreams and making a difference in the lives of others. I'm your host, Angela Almanza. Today we're going behind the scenes as Tea Party Patriots from all over the country gather in Phoenix to plan what they hope will be a victory party in 2012. Now, the last time a Tea Party got so much attention was in Boston in 1773. Then, as now, the Tea Party protesters were upset with government policies and politicians. Today's Tea Partiers aren't throwing tea into the harbor, but they're throwing fear into Republicans and Democrats alike.
I think that if you sum it up in these terms, more freedom, less government.
We're hoping that the Tea Party vigor and vim and energy for restoring our country will come into the Republican Party and help energize us to do the right thing.
We don't care about making the tent bigger. We care about the Constitution and the platform. That's what we elected you to do, and you're not listening to us. We want some response. So the Tea Party is providing us with that response.
One of our first questions was, why were they meeting in Arizona?
Arizona has always been. If you'll think back what happened to the comprehensive immigration reform, the revolution started here. It grew and it grew to the United States, and it was defeated across the entire country. But it started here. And this is a very conservative state, and we intend to make it more conservative.
We had all of these people campaigning against us, marching against us, boycotting us, but what happens when the elections came out? We had the biggest victory we ever had in Arizona and throughout the country as a result of people standing up and saying, we are no longer going this direction, we're going the Constitution direction.
Last I heard, we have 7.5 inches of wet snow. The driving is awful, and I was lucky to get out. I'm not wearing a jacket right now, and some people might criticize me, but for me, this is very warm. I left, sort of 9-degree weather, and this is really hot.
Everybody says Arizona is where it's happening in the Tea Party movement. That the Tea Party movement in Arizona is the strongest, most aggressive, most successful group of Tea Party people in the country.
We learned right away that the Tea Party Patriots feel very strongly that America needs their help.
The theory is that a single Tea Party group with 200 members has a small voice, but you put several of those together and then we finally have 2,000 voices. Then we have much more influence over the state legislators and lawmakers so that we get our conservative principles heard.
You have to look to the Constitution. The government has specific delegated powers. Article 1, Section 8, everybody at the Tea Party knows about this. They can do this, they can't do that. Healthcare isn't in it. Department of Education isn't in it. A lot of things the federal government is doing are not authorized by the people, so the people are up in arms, literally out with pitchforks saying stop.
If we are ever going to get control of the federal government and their spending, they can't do it by themselves. They cannot reform from within. We have to, as states, we must take control of this and limit their ability to spend, and the way to do that is limit their ability to create debt.
We didn't find anyone who isn't passionate about something.
I am a president, founder of American Citizens United. I'm a retired educator. The reason I retired was to become involved in the issue of illegal immigration, because as a teacher, I had many students who were illegally here with their families, and I realized that they were costing us a lot of money, and I thought, I need to say something, and I couldn't. My mouth was shut because I was working as a teacher.
My name's Alan Corwin. I'm the author of 13 books, 9 of them on gun law, and I run the website gunlaws.com. I'm a nationally recognized expert on gun law. I'm a pro-rights supporter. I think you have rights, they should be robust, and they should be protected. And the anti-rights people who want to take your rights away, I think, are making a mistake. The formula was small arms, the type of thing infantrymen would carry. So that does not include crew-fired weapons like tanks and fighters. Some people who hate guns say you shouldn't be able to own a fighter jet. That nobody argues with that. It's just personal firearms that you might want to carry or need to carry in a normal circumstance.
Well, I'll just tell you several different subjects specifically. Number one, I do believe that we need to secure that border. I think that not only are the illegals coming across and hurting our economy and all the things that we all know that they do, but secondly, we're getting the terrorists, we're getting diseases. We've seen leprosy come across the border. We've seen the trafficking, not just in drugs as it used to be, but in human trafficking, and they're holding them hostages. So we're seeing kidnappings where they're holding all of them hostage and extorting money out of their families, either in Mexico or their destination place in some other part of the United States.
We found out that there are groups within the Tea Party group, and one, the Arizona 2012 Project, is very focused on Article 5 of the Constitution.
Article 5 is, if you will, and I don't think the founders would have said it this way, it's a reset button. One of the greatest documents that I can ever imagine is the document that we call the Declaration of Independence. And in there, Jefferson warns us that if a government becomes despotic, that it is not only our right, but our duty to step in and do something about it and correct it. Antonin Scalia, probably the brightest mind on the Supreme Court, said that Article 5 is a workable document. And it might surprise people that even Ronald Reagan believed in the fifth Article 5 and that it could be used without endangering other parts of the Constitution.
Article 5 of the Constitution provides for the citizens themselves, through their state legislatures, to advance an amendment to the Constitution. It's an escape clause in the Constitution. The founders put it there for us to use.
We need to reduce what the federal government's doing, and that's why I think this effort on this amendment will help do that. We've got to stop these federal programs over which there is no accountability. There is so much waste.
Obama, I think, was the catalyst to just spark that fire much faster than it would ever have done had we not had this particular president.
So, who's the Tea Party for?
Anything that passes in Congress affects all of us, and it doesn't have anything to do with what culture you're from. You're going to pay the same price as the guy next door. There's perception that the Tea Party movement is an all-white movement, and the fact of the matter is that the Tea Party movement is for everybody.
Would Barry Goldwater be proud of the Tea Party?
I think Barry would be proud of us, yes. The Tea Party is on a roll.
I'm proud of what the Tea Party is doing, and I think I want to be a part of that movement.
I consider them the heroes, the cavalry coming over the hill, because we've kind of been fighting this battle for the beginning of, say, the 2002 era.
You can't believe the role we've been on. I'm just wondering when it's going to stop. We have been so successful, and I keep thinking to myself, one of these days I'm going to run into a barrier, and we're not running into barriers. People have been very, very happy with what we're doing.
This is unbelievable, and I don't think that, that we really have come to understand just how deep this is running and just how powerful this is.
What the Tea Party has done is amazing, and we need to keep it up. I came in a skeptic today. I've been lobbied by a number of people who don't want this Article 5 convention to take place, but I thought Nick Dranius gave a masterful presentation here, and I'm going away a convert.
And that's our show. If you have a great show idea that you think we might like, you can contact us on Facebook. Search for Somewhere in Arizona.